They said it was just a myth, one of those old wartime rumors that never made it into the history books. But buried deep in the U.S. Defense Archives, under a line item marked only as Biological Adaptation Unit 13, was a project that few were ever cleared to know about. Its codename, Project Lycan. It began in 1942, when the war in Europe was at its worst. The Allied forces were losing men faster than they could replace them. The government wanted an answer, something to turn the tide. They weren't looking for better guns or tanks, they wanted better soldiers. Documents declassified decades later describe it as a physiological enhancement initiative. In truth, it was far darker than that. Scientists in a hidden facility in the forests of northern Montana were ordered to study animal DNA, specifically the regenerative and tracking traits of wolves. Wolves could survive freezing temperatures, heal quickly, and move silently through terrain. If a soldier could possess those same abilities, America would have a weapon no enemy could match. But the human body doesn't accept change easily. Test subjects were taken from psychiatric wards, military prisons, and, according to one memo, from volunteers not suitable for standard service. They were injected with experimental serums derived from wolf stem tissue and adrenaline compounds. The results were unpredictable. At first, there were small successes. A subject's night vision sharpened. Another's wounds closed in hours instead of weeks. Their senses of smell and hearing increased tenfold. The generals called it progress, but then came the side effects. By the 6th week, one subject's heart rate doubled beyond control. Another's teeth began to calcify, pushing outward. One man reportedly broke free of his restraints during testing and killed 3 researchers before being subdued. The official report said he suffered from psychotic delusions. Unofficially, according to a surviving witness, his face was already starting to change. When the war ended in 1945, the paperwork stopped, but the funding didn't. The project was transferred to a new facility under the Department of Defense's black budget. Untraceable, unaudited money used for experiments that could never exist on paper. They moved underground, literally into a decommissioned mine near Groom Lake, Nevada. The name Project Lycan was erased, replaced with a new designation, Operation Silver Moon. Researchers no longer use prisoners. They use soldiers from special units, men who had already seen combat and wouldn't be missed if they disappeared. Audio logs recovered years later describe how the subjects were trained to hunt at night, navigate pitch-black environments, and respond to ultrasonic frequencies instead of commands. The military wanted to field test them in Korea, but containment became impossible. One surviving scientist, interviewed anonymously in 1973, described the final days of the program. They stopped being humans somewhere around trial 29. They'd move like shadows. You'd hear them breathing in the vents, smell the copper in the air before they came. We thought we could control evolution. We were wrong. He claimed that instead of terminating the creatures, they were sealed alive in cryogenic vaults deep beneath the Nevada test range. Every so often, a maintenance report would surface describing anomalous sounds coming from storage sectors, howls too low to be mechanical. By the 1980s, the Pentagon officially denied any record of Project Lycan, but the black budget ledger still showed unexplained withdrawals, millions labeled only as environmental genetic defense. Whistleblowers said the program was resurrected under the guise of DNA resilience studies. In truth, they were improving the serum, perfecting what the 1940s scientists couldn't. And then, in 2003, a military contractor leaked photos of massive animal-like skeletons stored in containment cylinders, each tagged with serial codes, matching those from the old Lycan files. The photos vanished within hours. The contractor was found dead a week later, officially suicide. Locals near the Nevada site still report hearing wolves in the desert, though there are none native to that region. Hunters have found prints larger than a man's hand, shaped like paws, but ending in elongated toes. Some say the government moved the test subjects north into the wilderness around Glacier National Park. Rangers whisper about mutilated elk found half-eaten, but no predator tracks leading away. The story should end there, with the war over and the experiment buried, but it doesn't. In 2011, a leaked Air Force budget request mentioned a genetic night operations unit, capable of functioning without light or radio support. Its proposed codename? L-13. That's the same number that appeared on the first Lycan file. Biological Adaptation Unit 13. Today, if you search for that project in public archives, it simply redirects to weather data files. But late at night, certain military frequencies still broadcast a low rhythmic pulse. What cryptographers say matches the ultrasonic patterns used in the 1940s to control the subjects. No one knows what those signals are meant for, or who might still be listening. So if you ever find yourself near a restricted forest line out west and hear something howling in the dark, something too human to be an animal, turn back. Because if the government really did perfect Project Lycan, they're not just soldiers anymore. They're something older, faster, and much harder to kill. And the scariest part? They were made to obey orders.